List the three features of plants. Chlorophyll, multicellular, terrestrial. What is chlorophyll? A green pigment that takes in the sun's energy. What does it mean to be a producer? Plants are producers because they make their own food through photosynthesis. Define photosynthesis. H2O and CO2 are the reactants. Chlorophyll and sunlight are requirements. C6H12O6 product and O2 byproduct. What does a plant have if it is vascular? They have special cells that transport food and water to different parts of the plant. What does vascular tissue allow a plant to do that the non-vascular plant cannot do? It can live anywhere and produce seeds. List 2 reasons why ecologists must study plants. Plants are the start of food chains. Many ecosystems are named from plants. How do the vascular plants reproduce compared to the non-vascular plants? Vascular plants produce seeds. Non-vascular plants make spores. What is a conifer? A tree that has cones. Leaves are needles. Evergreens. What type of vascular tissue transports food? Phloem. Water? Xylem. In this photosynthesis equation, which chemicals are the reactants? H2O and CO2. The requirements: chlorophyll and sunlight. Product: C6H12O6. The byproduct: O2. What does an ecologist study? Ecology. What are the basic relationships in ecology? Based on the result, based on the action. Define organism. Any living thing. What's the difference between ecology, environmental science, and biology? Ecology is the study of relationships between living things and their interactions with their environment. Environmental science, study of humans' relationship with nature. Biology studies life and living things. Define ecosystem. All living and non-living things in an area. Environment. Only abiotic. Surroundings in which we live. Biotic, living. Abiotic, not living. Community. Total of all species in an area. Population. Number of one species in an area. Give an example of a relationship that would be mutualism. Bird cleaning in alligator's mouth. Both benefit. Commensalism. Clownfish, sea anemone. One benefits, another doesn't. Parasitism. Cow bird with regular eggs. Parasite benefits. Host is harmed. Recycling. Two species exchange a substance. Passing it back and forth. Feeding. One organism is eating or producing or providing food to another. Only predation when prey could get away. Competing. Two species organisms both want a limited resource. Housing. One organism lives in or on another organism. What is succession? Process of an ecosystem changing over time. Explain the difference between primary succession and secondary succession. In primary succession, there was no previous community. In secondary succession, there was a community, but it changed drastically. Define pioneer plants. First kind of organism to arrive. Example, glacial pond. List the stages of success. Oh yeah, primary occurs when there was no living things. No soil, no plants, no animals. Example, glacial pond. Secondary occurs where there was a previous community, but it changes drastically. Land after fire. Define consumer. Organism that must rely on other organisms for food. Producer, organism that makes own food. Herbivore, organism that eats only plants. Carnivore, organism that only eats meat. Omnivore, organism that eats plants and animals. Predator, organism that must hunt, chase, and kill their own food. Prey, organism that is food for another organism. What is the difference between a parasite and a saprophyte? A parasite lives and feeds on another living thing. A saprophyte is an organism that lives and feeds on dead things. Explain the relationship between decomposers, decomposers, and detritus, and humus and dirt. Detritus is dead stuff which will decompose. Humus is decomposing stuff that will turn into soil, but isn't soil yet. In a food chain, where are the primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers? Bug is primary, fish is secondary, and hawk is tertiary. What four things are needed by producers to carry on photosynthesis? CO2, H2O, chlorophyll, and sunlight. Remember how to label food chains? Aquatic means water, terrestrial means land. A grazing food chain starts with a producer. A decomposer food chain starts with detritus. Which is a better diagram, a food web or a food chain? A food web. Why? In a food web, everything is connected. More realistic, can include omnivores, scavengers, parasites, and saprophytes. What do decomposers do that makes them so important? Break down dead plants, animals, and waste. Makes it possible for growing plants to absorb nutrients. A food web is stable if, when you remove each organism one at a time and everything is food. Define energy. Ability to do work. Kinetic energy. Energy of motion. Training. Waterfall. Potential energy. Stored energy. Candy. Gasoline. First and second laws of energies states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can change them. When energy changes form, some is lost. A calorie is the amount of heat needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Biomass is dry body weight. According to the 10% rule, only 10% of the calories do what? Biomass body tissue. A plant has 4,000 calories. How many would the mouse get if it ate the plant? 400 calories. Name something that is not made of atoms. All physical things are made of atoms. What are the parts of an atom? Neutron. Neutral. N. In nucleus. Proton. Positive. P. Plus. In nucleus. Electron. Negative. E. Minus. Outside nucleus rings. What's the difference between an element and a compound? An element is made of only one type of atom. A compound is made of at least 2 different atoms. What does the prefix tell you, and where is it in a chemical formula? Number of molecules in front. What does the subscript tell you, and where is it in a chemical formula? Number of atoms, written lower. The atomic mass of an atom is an average of many samples. The atomic number tells you the number of P plus. Do you remember the names and symbols of the 11 biologically important elements? Name them. Hydrogen, oxygen. I'm starting to do that. Okay. Hydrogen, oxygen, calcium, carbon, nitrogen, potassium, sulfur, iron, phosphorus, magnesium, iodine. What is in a biome? Region of the Earth with characteristic plants, animals, and climate. Fill in this chart. Tundra. Plants are mosses, animals are reindeer. Coniferous forest. Plants has spruce, animals are beaver. Deciduous forest. Plants are maple, animals are foxes. Grassland. Plants are corn, animals are coyote. Desert. Plants are cactus, animals are swallow. Tropical forest. Plants are orchids, animals are birds. A species is a group of organisms that produce fertile offspring and look similar. What three things help define a population? Species, area, time. What is the difference between a population and a community? See Unit D, Section C. Unit 2, Section C. Community, all species live in an area. Population, number of certain species in a certain area at a certain time. List the 5 limiting factors. Food, shelter, disease, predator, weather. What do limiting factors do? They make populations increase. What does the term of carrying capacity mean? The number of a certain species that could live in a certain area at a certain time. Remember the different types of counting methods? True census, actual count. Random sample census. Count in areas placed randomly. Transect sample census. Count in areas placed in a line. If there were 30 mice in 1 acre, then how many would be in a 20-acre field? 600 mice. When will a population graph result in an S-curve? And when will it form a J-curve? J-curve when it's not natural. S-curve when it's natural. Where do you find the carrying capacity on a graph? Flat spot on the graph. What are the 2 factors that make a population increase, and which 2 will make it decrease? Natality, immigration, mortality, and emigration. If the birth date was 5 and the death rate was 19, then 4 immigrated and 9 emigrated, then how many of these would be if you had 40 to start? 40 plus 5 minus 19 plus 4 minus 9 equals 21. What is the population change above in the above question? Negative 19. Know these terms. Rare, low in number, but the population was always low. Endangered, in danger of becoming extinct. Threatened, in danger of becoming endangered. Extinct, no longer living anywhere anymore. What are the top 5 reasons for endangered species? Habitat destruction, process where the habitat is destroyed. Force crack. Introduction of new species occurs when people bring species to habitats where they weren't found naturally. Poaching, illegal hunting of a species. Pest or predator control involves killing species because it's thought of as bad. Over harvesting, humans were allowed to take them from the wild, but took too many. Why should we care about losing species today if we have already lost 99% of species in the past? The rate goes faster. Did prehistoric man hunt dinosaurs? Yes, they did. Can plants be endangered? Yes, they can. Explain the difference between broad range and selective species. Broad range species, able to live under under a wide variety of conditions. I can't speak right. Selective species, only able to live under specific conditions. What is biodiversity and why is it important? Biodiversity is a measure of the differences within a species because the greater the differences in life on Earth, the more likely its survival. Can you list the major points of the asteroid theory? The Chicxulub crater in Mexico is from the asteroid from 65 MYA. Where are the craters from the other four mass extinctions? What evidence is available for the asteroid theory or the volcano theory? Two periods of volcanic activity do coincide with two mass extinctions. Volcanic activity does cause climate change, and volcanic activity brings up iridium from deep in the earth. I think my hand's in the way. The two basic types of natural resources are renewable and non-renewable. The two types of water on Earth are salt water and fresh water. The two types of sources for water pollution are point and non-point sources. The four classes of water pollutants are pathogens, nutrients, toxins, and physical agents. Name an example for each. Bacteria, food waste, grass, pesticides. What term describes the buildup of a substance as it is passed along in the food chain? See toxins. Bioaccumulation. What is pH and how does it work? It stands for the potential of hydrogen, and it goes from 0 to 14. Is pH 4 an acid or a base? Acid is alkaline or acidic. Acidic. Is pH 4 stronger or weaker than pH 8? Stronger. How does water get acidic? There are more H plus ions than OH minuses. What are the effects? Mainly affect aquatic species. Trees are also affected. Dissolves limestone and marble structures. In areas with a snowpack, acid shock can occur when the snow melts rapidly. The atmosphere is composed of gas, dust, water vapor. There are 200 miles of atmosphere around the Earth. List the 5 layers of the atmosphere and feature of each. Troposphere, air. Stratosphere, ozone layer. Mesosphere, meteors. Thermosphere, northern lights. Exosphere, nothing. What is air? Gases we breathe. What are the 4 types of gases in the air? Well, top 4 I meant. Top 4 gases. List the symbol and the percent of each. Excuse me. Nitrogen, N2, 78. Oxygen, O2, 21%. Argon, AR, 0.93. Carbon dioxide, CO2, 0.03%. What is ozone? Layer of gas located 12 to 19 miles above the Earth. It's a compound made of free oxygen atoms. It has properties that regular oxygen does not. What is happening to the ozone layer? It's destroyed by chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons. What can we do about ozone destruction? If we stop releasing CFCs, then the ozone holes will close. Where do CFCs come from? Air conditioners, refrigerators, freezers, and the same styrofoam. Some styrofoam, sorry. What is the greenhouse effect? Global warming or climate change? What is causing this effect? Free gases in our atmosphere are increasing. Carbon dioxide, methane, and CFCs. What will happen if the Earth gets warmer? More gases, I can't do it right. More gases trap more heat, temperature rises. List the free processes create more, most air I'm going to try again. List the free processes create most air pollutants and give an example for each. Attrition, wearing away substances by friction. Vaporization, fumes, change from liquid to gas. Combustion, burning. What must you do in order for fuel to burn completely? Produce less pollution. What is pollution? See beginning of Unit 8. Any substance that is found where it doesn't belong and is more than normal. Hey dude, I'm done. Oh, I see, Colton. Thank you for asking that. Can I end the video? Oh, sure. You can. Okay. Right when I get to the 20-minute mark. No, end it now. Okay.